And greetings, friends. The Gaming Author here. Welcome to Chapter 5 of our D&D campaign, Legends of the Black Crystal. Last time, everyone arrived in the border town of Hooded River, the border between Washorek and Orlivia. They met with some fellow members of the Ishtoraian... oh no, my apologies, it's not the Ishtoraian. The Inclusion Collaboration, getting all the names mixed up in my head again. But, after meeting with some people, the party made an important decision to either go to the dimension of Elysium and seek Queen Lenora, or stay on the Primaterial Plane and look for King Garen. So the party ultimately decided to stay in this world and look for King Garen, while the rest of the crew began to make their way to the dimension of Elysium through a kind of a rift in the city of Hooded River, where you're able to access the road between realms and traverse between dimensions from there. This only occurs when the Emerald Moon is visible here. However, after this group had left and everyone was beginning to rest, Matthias had a run-in with some familiar faces and ended up unconscious. Cassie thankfully prevented him from staying unconscious for super long, but then when she looked out the window, after some divine inspiration, she saw in the distance just almost a seemingly endless amount of soldiers lining the horizon from the Ishtoraian Military. And from what you guys have heard, they are beginning to invade not only Orlivia, it seems, but making their way towards Washorek. And that brings us to where you guys are. So you guys are on the Wisp's Will Tavern. And at this point, Cassie, have you told anyone what you've seen in the distance?
No, because we stopped right before I got the chance to, but yes.
All right. Yep. So that does bring us back to here. So with that, for the sake of narrative, we will say that between then and now, Cassie did go ahead and make everyone aware of the situation. And in the distance, the rest of you begin to hear this as well, this rhythmic marching getting closer and closer towards the town, just coming in from the east. And as everyone's looking around, you can see Shoal, the Dragonborn boy you met earlier, is hiding behind Chisadri and Aluris. And Holly goes up to the window and she looks out. She goes, "Well, that certainly doesn't look good." And she turns around and gestures towards some of the people among you. And she goes, "All right, I want half of you to go ahead and alert Glenn and the others. And I want the rest of you to go around town, grab as many able-bodied fighters as you can, and tell them to meet on the eastern border of the town." And then she goes ahead and turns towards the rest of you. And she goes, "If you don't mind, would you go ahead and meet everyone on the eastern side of town as well?"
Sure.
All right, so with that being the case, do you guys go ahead and leave the tavern and start making your way towards where everyone else is going?
Yes.
All right. So you guys... So as you exit the tavern, you can see the Emerald Moon. The green itself is kind of starting to fade just a little bit and kind of give way to the normal, like, bright white color of the moon. But as you head outside, you look towards your east, you see all these soldiers, and they're all armed with numerous pieces of armor, and just various weapons such as spears. Some even have crossbows, and some are even carrying rifles along with them, and they are just getting closer and closer towards you. And as you're witnessing this, you hear the clanking of armor behind you as Glenn approaches, and he looks at all of you, and he's armed with a sword, and he just looks and he says, "Well, I suppose we have little choice but to fight for now. We have some people gathering some of the leaders of this town, and they're going to get the rest of the townspeople evacuated, and they're going to get the train running as soon as possible. But for now, we have a job to do." And he points his sword at the soldiers, and he says, "Our job is to hold them off for as long as possible. And then, once the train is up and running and all the townspeople are aboard, we have orders to go and evacuate. So, do any of you need to make any preparations before we go and try to hold these soldiers off?"
Can somebody heal me?
Let's see. Bells. Would mending work?
No, that's
not a healing
if
spell.
you click on the spell, it should give you details.
Well, I'm just saying, technically, you're just mending the bad thing. You know?
Now,
You're just mending the thing that's broken. You know it's working.
However, it's an object, so unless
Yeah.
it's an unhealthy
Brutal.
It had to be said. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
Oh my god.
no, don't even apologize. My goodness. All right.
Point of the game.
So with that, you guys are heading into battle soon. So definitely, if you have preparations to make, now's the time.
Matthias, would you like to beg for your life?
Absolutely.
Alright.
Is there a shop around?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Alright.
No, that was a
Wait, you
no,
said
that was
inception?
like
A perception.
that was like
Perception.
the legit. He said-
Inception.
I don't know. Okay.
18.
All right. So looking around, just to kind of give you an idea of your surroundings right now, coming out of the tavern, you're in kind of a almost like a residential area, more or less. You've got like just a few houses here and there. Towards your south is kind of where you guys landed, and there are a number of boats. But looking around in your immediate vicinity, you do not see any shops, or at least any that are clearly, obviously marked at this moment.
Do we currently have someone showing us around?
You do not. Right now, everyone is just kind of in a panic, either trying to evacuate the townspeople or head up to the east to begin this battle against these soldiers.
Well, even if we went to a shop, we would have to go outside, which is where the people I'm trying to avoid are.
Well, we're about to fight them.
I know, but I'm trying to avoid them at the moment. I have 1 HP.
That's why I just
Give me a potion, but I only have one.
first. Okay, let's get this out of the way. I have 2 healing potions, and I'm a healer. That's why I just asked him if he wanted to beg for his life.
I know. I was just gonna say, I feel like Cassie could be
Yeah.
for some reason.
Because you tell because you like to keep secrets, and Mike, I don't know if I want to keep the secret keeper around.
Savage.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on him.
All
I'm
right.
a benevolent secret keeper. I am benevolent Carl.
This is the first.
Matthias.
That would be a great character name.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, yes. All right. So let's see.
I have to make sure. I have to read it because it's the first time casting.
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm reading it too, just to review, because
Okay, 1d8, and then I get also 1.
1d4
1d4.
because of the god you follow. So,
Okay.
all right, so go ahead and roll, and we'll see
And
how
then
much.
it's +2 because
Yeah.
of the thing. Okay, so that's a 6 and that's a 3, so that's 9. You recover 11,
All right, so Matthias, you recover 11 HP.
so you're at 12 now.
Fucking beautiful.
Yes.
That means I'm only 3 hit points down. That works for me.
All right, so
I'm
with that.
down a spell slot though, so that's great.
So with that, anything else you guys want to prepare before heading into battle?
Oh. Can I... Let's see. Hold on. Where'd it go? Right here. Does it cost me? 1 action. Can I use actions outside of battle?
You can certainly try. Also, you can go for it. Yeah, because we're not in battle yet, so it doesn't really. So there aren't really any turns at the moment. So, if you want to use an action, yeah.
Yeah. Can I put mage armor on everybody?
Hang on, let me go ahead and make sure that works real quick.
Because it says you wait. Oh, everyone's probably wearing armor.
I am for sure, so.
All right, until this. All right.
Just because if you touch a willing creature who isn't wearing armor and a protective magical force surrounds it until the spell ends, their target base AC becomes 13 plus.
Plus its dexterity modifier.
Spell ends if the target dons armor, or if you dismiss the spell as an action.
Alright, so is there anyone not wearing armor? Okay.
Am I wearing armor?
Yeah, you have light armor on.
What?
Light armor.
Heads up, Soren. DM.
What's up?
White
Oh,
armor is
right here.
a whole
Oh,
different
right.
Alright.
game.
Oh, I'm interested. Okay. Hold on, I'll
Alright.
write that one.
Alright, thanks for letting me know.
If someone wants to go while I'm researching this, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So if anyone else wants to...
8 hours. It's also the duration is 8 hours.
Alright. Or unless they don armor or...
No, I think the only people currently in the party that would aid would be me because you're wearing that white.
Okay. So yeah, so then, yeah, you can go ahead and put that on Soren if you want.
Okay, sweet. So do that. So your base, what's the AC?
The base AC is 13.
13 plus my dex.
Yeah.
So what does that bring you? Oh, the armor class. Duh.
Yeah, armor class. So that just basically makes it to where she's harder to hit.
Thank God, because I'm squishy.
I'm also
What'd that put you up to?
14.
Nice.
I'm also gonna cast Aid, so everyone gets an extra 5 hit points.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I do want to read one more thing. Hold on.
So your temporary HP goes up by 5. So like your max HP goes up by 5.
That's awesome.
That's not the right number. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the wrong number. I think it's that. Yeah, okay, I fixed it. So I have 26 now.
Yeah.
And everyone else should also have
Plus 5, yep.
Okay. I was just reading what the whole mold earth freaking spell was.
There
Okay.
goes 2 spell slots.
I mean, hey, it's good to make these preparations because you guys are going to be jumping right into the thick of it pretty soon here.
So I should put 20.
Don't increase the regular hit points. Right next to it, there should be like a temporary hit point thing. So add
You
5
put
to
a 5
that.
in there.
Oh, just 5?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
5. So yeah.
Alright.
And then what happens is when you take damage, you run through the temp before you go into
Mm.
Gotcha.
All right. So with that, is
I'm
it?
not doing anything else, so good luck, guys.
With that, are you all ready?
Yeah.
All right. I suppose ready maybe isn't the right word, but you know what? Whatever. All right.
More or less. Like you have a freaking crazy person.
Yeah. And this entire time, Arkrampin, you've actually seen Bob hasn't even like mentioned anything about what's going on. He's still just staring up at that emerald moon, and that's all he's been doing this entire time. All right. So with that, as you guys finish making your preparations, you go ahead and follow the crowd of the able-bodied fighters that are heading towards this eastern plain, towards where these soldiers are marching, and you notice they aren't super close to the town yet, but as you get closer, you do begin to see kind of the details on their faces, and a lot of them appear to be primarily human and elven for the most part, and they're all clad in the Ishtoraian military armor. And as you guys go ahead and make your way with the rest of the group, you hear the clinking of armor running up behind you, and Glenn and Holly come up, and they look towards you four. And Glenn goes ahead and speaks first, and he goes, "All right, so here's how this is going to go. We're going to have the four of you lead a group of these members here into battle, and see if we can at least whittle down their numbers enough to the point where they no longer become a threat to the rest of the town. And with that, we're going to go ahead and divide these people up with you guys. And so that's going to introduce our new battle system here. So let me go ahead and make sure I organize these. All right.
New battle system. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll explain how this will go once I divide this information up. All right, so our Krampin here is your group.
My group.
And then Matthias, your group. All right, let me make sure I've got this right.
Whoa. Wait.
Hang on, I'll explain it. Don't worry.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
All right, and then let's see. All right, Cassie, you get.
Wait, what was AT again? Armor class.
Yeah. And then
Damn. Okay, but that is still pretty good. That's still good.
and then
Oh,
let's
of course.
see.
6.
Soren, here's yours.
Of course, I'm the leader of this battalion.
Yep. So here's how this battle system works. So every time you get a turn, your character gets to do their regular action and a bonus action if applicable, and then your battalion gets 2 actions. Their movement counts as action. Every battalion can move 30 feet, and then you can choose either their regular hit or special as another action. And you have 3 charges of each of your specials.
You're putting a crazy old man in charge of their own, like, freaking fleet of army?
Yes, and also the HP of your battalion is equivalent to how many.
Crazy.
The HP of your battalion is equivalent to how many people are in there. So for every 2 HP, that's 1 person.
Oh, so it's half. Okay.
Okay. And then is the hit for the entire battalion or per person in battalion?
So that's for the entire battalion. So your battalion moves as a unit. So the battalion can either choose to attack an enemy battalion or the battalion leader. And if you kill the leader, the battalion will flee. But if you kill the battalion first, the leader then gets advantage on all attack rolls after that. Alright.
So if one of us gets left alone.
Yeah, then you get advantage on all future attacks.
Okay, I need to
So
read.
what we're saying is I should not kill my whole battalion.
You should absolutely kill everyone.
Alright, so with that,
And point your spear sideways and run straight into walls.
okay, so as you guys are going ahead and preparing your groups, you're all organizing, and you all begin to kind of discuss with your individual battalions what everyone will be doing, and just kind of planning ahead as 5 enemy battalions, or no, my apologies, 4 enemy battalions kind of begin making their way towards you. And
Wait, one for each of us.
so,
Do you remember
With-
what I said? Never mind.
Okay.
I'm talking to myself.
alright, so with that, let me go ahead and
I don't remember what I said. My spirit.
hit everything way too far back.
I should have written it down.
I would like everyone to roll initiative. Alright.
Wait, is this for just us or for?
Just you, because the initiative counts for both you and your battalion. So like you'll move first, and then
It's a really good thing that my magic surge only happens when I cast a sorcerer spell. It's already be happening.
oh boy. All right.
Oh no.
All right. So hang on. So 25 to 20.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that.
Yeah. All right. No one 25 to 20. All right. So then 20 to 15.
18.
19.
All right. Ooh, 19. Nice. So our cramping.
You guys get plush initiative. It's not fair.
Matthias and
Oh yeah, I do have soda.
all right. 15 to 10.
I got 13.
13.
Hey, it's better than the last time we had a fight.
No, it's just like I'm like, oh no, one of our most powerful people like sounds like got a low number.
Yeah.
And
Know it.
Like, oh no.
then, let's see. So we got Samantha, Max.
Come on, enemy low numbers.
It's okay. I promise they're not lower than me.
Alright, and then 10 to 5.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Did you get a natural 1?
You know I.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
I knew it.
Alright.
I'm moving the chaos goddess.
Stop. We need to stop rolling that.
Alright, so what was your initiative total?
I am the insane.
1. Oh boy. Alright.
1 total.
She's going last.
Yeah.
I'm glad that my wild magic surge only happens at specific times.
Yes.
I could be a flower pot right now. This could be worse.
You're not wrong. Alright.
Gosh.
So, to kind of give a bit of an image as to what things are looking like, each of you are kind of standing in a row with your battalions behind you. We have our Krampin is standing at the far left of everyone, and then we've got Matthias to his right. And then after Matthias is Cassie, and then to the far right is Soren with her battalion. And in front of you, about... and everyone's just trying to not really look you in the eye or anything like that.
Concentrating.
And then in front of you, about the closest battalion is about 27 feet away, and they're led by a kind of a tall. They're led by a tall woman with like this long blonde hair, and she looks human, but she is carrying a sword at her side. And behind her, you can see her battalion consists of a lot of people in the cloaks. They're members of the church from Ishtorai. So that is the closest battalion to you. So, our Krampin, what would you like to do first, since it's your action?
I would like, to just charge at the closest battalion.
All right. So you go ahead and move, and your battalion isn't quite moving with you yet, since it's not their turn. So you're going ahead of them, and you're heading towards this first battalion. And what is your action?
Okay. I am going to hope with all of my will that this work. I want to use unidentified flying.
All right, here we go. So,
You're
Yeah.
you're 0 for 2.
all right. So go ahead and roll attack.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's the first with the d20.
Yeah.
You're 0 for 2 so far.
Oh, wait. Okay, so. Okay. Wait, isn't there? Is that just as is, or do I have a modifier?
So for this, you would want to go ahead and add your spell modifier. So it'll be your d20 plus 2.
Okay. So 16.
All right, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, that's the d6.
Yeah, 1d6 plus your charisma modifier.
Charisma? Fuck yeah. Right. Where is it, my blind ass?
It should be. Are you using a computer or your phone?
My computer. Oh, there.
Okay, yeah.
So I found it. So awesome. 6.
6 damage total. All right. So let me go ahead and calculate that. All right. And then, all right. So as you're casting the spell, you see that familiar flying vehicle up in the sky, and you see your little friends, and they all just kind of wave at you, and they're like, "Meh," like in the language that no one else understands, and and one of them has a bit of a headache. It looks like he's kind of recovering from a hangover, but the other one kind of slaps him, like kind of, and he's like, and he's like, "Yeah, all right." And then they go ahead and lift up their giant boulders and throw them down. They crash into this battalion closest to you, and they damage both the battalion and the leader. So both of them are still standing pretty strong. A few people go down, but they appear to still be standing strong. And is that it? Wow, you sound a lot like Kokichi when you laugh like that. What the heck?
Who?
A character from the third Danganronpa game.
Oh.
And all right, so with that, you have 2 actions for your battalion. What would you like them to do?
Okay, so pull up my notes.
It's a lie!
It's another Danganronpa reference.
You'll see.
Okay. Can I get them to charge at the same battalion that I'm at?
Oh, absolutely. They're the battalion you're fighting is only 27 feet away, so they can definitely get that movement. So you go ahead and you use that action for them to charge forward. And what do you have them do next?
Attack.
All right. So you can. All right. So go ahead and roll attack at disadvantage.
So is that
So
two?
yeah, 2 rolls and you take the lower one.
Is that the D20?
Yes, indeed. And then there aren't really any modifiers for the battalion in terms of their attack, so it's just a straight d20.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my. The first one was 4, and then I got a 5, so it's 4.
Oh, yeah. No, they miss, unfortunately. As they're charging, they're distracted by the sight of your flying friends, and as they go in charge, they kind of get caught off guard, and as they attack, they entirely.
They were helpful. Fucking idiots are being distracted.
Yep. All right. So with that goes ahead and ends your battalion's turn, and Matthias, it is now your move.
Wonderful. Okay, where are the battalions in relation to myself?
So the closest one to you, since you were a little further away than our Krampin was, they're about the closest one's about 28 feet, and the other ones are still a little further back, about 45, 50 feet away.
Wonderful. Alright, I go to the closest one, and I guess I'll just stick my rapier in the crowd.
Okay, so are you actually you can choose to attack either or if you're doing a single attack like you yourself, you can only attack the leaders. I forgot to mention that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I attack that leader.
All right, go ahead and roll attack.
Cool.
I just cast
Gotta get
freaking
back.
spiritual weapon, and it's like a fly swatter, and it just attacks
Yes.
all of them.
Ooh, good song. Oh, it's one of the new ones.
Oh yeah, actually the new ones are about to be on Spotify in a few days.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really like the one of the new ones, the Lost in the Memory is one of my
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Alright. So we got 16.
For attack, oh yeah, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
I'm trying to remember what I said my spiritual weapon was gonna be.
That's a 7.
All right. Let's go ahead and change that. All right, perfect. So you go ahead and unsheath your sword, and then you kind of get into a bit of a fight against this blonde-haired woman. She her sword is the blade's definitely a lot wider than yours. She kind of blocks it initially, kind of knocks it away. But as your sword's flying, you kind of bring it back up around and slice right across. Right across her throat. It isn't enough to deal lethal damage, but there's definitely a bit of a scar, right under her chin. And she's still standing strong. In fact, she actually looks quite angry about this, but you've definitely made a good move. So with that, you can now move your battalion if you choose.
Alrighty. So where is was Janice's battalion anywhere near myself?
Oh yeah, your battalion kind of starts where you were, so they would move the same distance. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have them attack the same leader.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and roll attack then.
Alright.
Going in for the kill.
Yeah, straight D20.
Oop. Evidently, I have to fill it in with a 0, otherwise it's not gonna happen.
Yes.
Oh, buddy, that's a 3.
Yeah, it's this battalion too has just been stricken by our Krampen's flying friends, and so as they go ahead and run forward, they look up and kind of see this UFO flying away in the distance, and a lot of them kind of look just entertained, and a lot of them are very confused, and then they eventually just kind of snap out of it. Janice herself is like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And she goes ahead and tries to attack, but the leader of the battalion in front of you goes ahead and just tosses her heavy sword down and blocks her blow, and just kind of wags her finger at her and shakes her head, and she's like, "No, I don't think so." And then that is the end of your battalion's turns. So with that, it is actually...
So help me, Giselle. If every one of our battalions gets starstruck by these fucking creatures, but none of the enemy's battalions are, I'm gonna be super pissed.
Mine won't miss. It's alright. Mine won't miss.
Alright, so
I've
with
got a
that,
plan.
it is the battalion in front of you's turn, and the leader is going to go ahead and make an attack on Matthias because she is quite upset at him. So let's go ahead and... Alright, that is an 11 to hit.
An 11 hit.
Yeah, does that miss, or...
That misses.
Alright, perfect. So she goes ahead and she lifts her broadsword with both hands and swings it at you, but the blade does not come fast, and you being a rogue, you're quite dodgy, literally. So you go ahead and kind of quickly dodge back as she swings, and she just goes, "Ugh," and like kind of almost throws a temper tantrum with her hands kind of dropping down. And she shouts at her battalion, and she just says, "Go on, get them!" And with that, her battalion charges forward, and since they're relatively close to you, they are going to attack our Krampen's battalion first.
Fuck.
And, that is 10 to hit. They are rolling terribly.
Okay, so am I remembering wrong? Do I have to roll a d20 myself? Or is that
Oh,
against my...
no, you don't, it's against your armor class, so...
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, sorry. 1 second. Miss.
Alright, so yeah, their battalion comes charging in, and like some of your battalion members are like, "Wait, look up there," and they look up and see your Martian friends, and they're like, "Oh wow, that's something." And the
Oh, yeah.
the leader at the front is just pissed, and she's like, "Come on!" And she goes and gestures for the other half of her battalion, and they're going to go ahead and attack Matthias's battalion. Oh come on, they rolled an 8.
No.
Yeah, everyone here just seems distracted by our Krampen's friends. And yeah, they just completely whiff. And
I am taking credit for all these bad rolls, absolutely.
all right, with that, Cassie, it is your turn. So this battalion, as well as their leader, is about 33 feet away from you.
Okay. What I want to do first is, can I cast Blessed on my battalion?
I don't see why not. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to cast Blessed on my battalion.
All right, and then
So that adds
Oh my god,
Plus-
I'm an idiot.
one, I believe, 1d4 to all their attack rolls for like a minute or so.
okay.
And then I'm also going to cast Spiritual Weapon 20 feet in front of me.
All right. So you go ahead and cast it, and what does your spiritual weapon look like?
It is a pink ukulele
Yes.
with a panda on the back.
So
Cassie is a bard at heart.
everyone watches as this giant pink ukulele with like a painting of a panda on the back just appears in front of you and has like this ethereal glow around it. And with that, you have 2 actions for your battalion. What would you like them to do?
You said
We have a unicorn now?
It's ukulele. Sorry, did I say unicorn? I'm
no.
sorry.
You said
Okay.
ukulele.
No. For some reason, my freaking some reason my mouth just like, oh, yep.
Okay, so you said that the closest battalion
It's like 33 feet away.
And they can only move 30. I'm just going to move them in.
Alright, so you go ahead and move them 30 feet, and then with that, is there anything else you want them to do? Because they have one more action.
I mean, there's nothing that they can really do. And I don't want to use my thing yet.
Alright, so with that, you go ahead and after summoning your spiritual weapon and casting Bless on your battalion, they move 30 feet in and are now relatively close to the battalion that our Crampton and Matthias are currently engaged with. And that goes ahead and it's your turn. And so that brings us to one of the further away battalions. So, let's see. Okay, that's Max. Alright, so up ahead you can see a shorter man just kind of holding a spear. He's got like this cropped black hair, and he looks elven, but he looks particularly short in comparison to a lot of elves you've seen around here. But his battalion is mostly humans and half-elves as well, and he is going to go ahead and move about, since he's about 40 feet away, he's just going to move his full 30 feet away to go up, and then with that, he doesn't choose to do anything himself, but he will command the rest of his battalion to move along with him the 30 feet. And with that, let me make sure they can't do anything else, because, okay, no, they weren't super far away. They are going to take their turn to go ahead and attack Matthias's battalion. Let's see if they're distracted by the UFO or not. They rolled an 11 to attack.
Miss.
Alright, yeah. They go ahead and attack, but your battalion is just, after being distracted, they're focused now, and all of them just kind of block and dodge out of the way of this battalion's attack. And with that, that is all that one can do. And then one of the further away battalions is also going to move forward, but they're just going to move forward 20 feet. And this one, you can see, is this orc woman with very short brown hair, and she's got like a kind of like an eye patch over one eye, and she is holding a massive wooden club, kind of studded with iron bolts in it, and she's just kind of staring at all of you, but she doesn't really move further ahead than 20 feet, so that makes her about 25 feet away from the rest of you, and her battalion follows suit, and none of them do anything else. And then that brings us to the last battalion, who chooses to stay behind and just kind of watch the rest of the battle unfold. And you can see in front of this battalion is a woman with short blonde hair, and she's clad in almost a pearl-looking armor. It's very bright white, and like even in the green glow of the emerald moon, the armor seems to be glowing. And she is atop a brown horse, and the rest of her battalion are not on horses, but they all seem to be carrying rifles with them, and they are going to go ahead and fire at Cassie's battalion. Oh, nope, that's not happening. That was the one. So they fire, but a lot of them just kind of, these are very primitive rifles. Like Ishtoraian does not really have a lot of them, so a lot of them kind of jam, and a lot of them, like, the recoil hits a little hard and just like goes off into the distance and doesn't even land. And with that, that brings us to yes, fire again. I missed again. And Soren, it is now your turn, and the closest battalion is about 37 feet away from you.
Okay, and what kind of weaponry do they get?
The enemy battalion?
Yeah.
Okay. The one that's closest to you, they're primarily holding swords.
And then their leader person?
Oh yeah, the leader is holding a really big broadsword, and she's the one that Matthias and our Crampton have not fighting.
Okay, then I am going to move until I am about... so, let me describe what I'm picturing. I would like to stand in the very center of my troops,
Mm-hmm.
They are my meat shield.
Yeah, alright, reasonable.
And then we are going to move until we are about 10 feet away from their group.
Alright.
And then I want them all to, let's see, so how big of a space is the enemy group taking up?
The enemy group is taking up about, I'd say about a total of 10 feet around.
Perfect. Because the spell I want to use happens to occupy a 10 by 10 space. I would like to cast on the center of their group the spell Grease. Basically bubbling up from the ground, a whole bunch of just warm grease, slippery grease.
I'm imagining that one musical Grease,
No.
just like everyone just gets like slicked back hair and like
Act like
Amy.
yes, no way.
Alright.
Actual grease bubbles up from the ground, and all of them need to make a dexterity saving throw or fall prone.
Alright. Let's see. So that would be an 11.
Shoot, that would miss on mine.
Fail. You roll as a group or as individuals? Because if you rolled as a group, all of them.
Oh yeah, that's a group. So all of them have fallen over, including their leader. So as soon as this, as soon as this grease appears, like everyone, like after being so distracted by everything that's been going on, just suddenly grease starts appearing below them, and they're like, and then they start slipping, and then even their leader is just confused as all hell, and she slips and falls along with everyone else.
Okay, perfect. And then I am going to go ahead and have my troops they get 2 actions.
Yeah, well, the movement counts as 1 action since you moved along with your battalion, so they have 1 more action.
I'm gonna have them go ahead and attack then.
Alright, so go ahead and just roll a straight d20 for the battalion.
17.
Alright, and are they attacking the leader or the battalion, or both?
Oh, and actually, I'm gonna have them attack the leader.
Alright, so you said that was a 10?
Advantage. Okay, but it's not enough. 20. 17 to hit.
Alright, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll the damage.
9 points of damage.
Ooh. So as soon as the leader is falling, your battalion kind of rushes in, kind of weapons at the ready, and like they kind of almost do like a bit of a row. All of them are attacking, kind of running in line, and then they circle back, and all of them have managed to go ahead and cut up this leader pretty well. But mostly her armor is looking pretty damaged, but her herself, aside from the wound she received from Matthias, doesn't necessarily look super hurt beyond a few bruises, so she is still pretty strong even though she has been knocked down.
Sure.
Alright.
So, for your knowledge, that terrain is also now difficult terrain, so double movement required to move. So 5 feet goes 10 feet, etc.
Understandable.
Lovely.
Then all of them will have to stand up, which will use half their movement. And
Yeah.
at the end of their turn, any of them still within that area need to make another dexterity save or fall prone again.
Alright. That's understandable. My goodness, that's awesome. That freaking, like, big groups of enemies are perfect for spellcasters, I swear. Alright, that brings us back to the top of the round. So our Krampin, it is now your action. And kind of looking ahead of you, you do have a couple of battalions getting a little closer. A couple of them are about, one of them is about 20 feet away and the other is about 25, but you still have this one directly in front of you that have slid on all this grease and fallen, including their leader, who is just kind of struggling to get up but keeps sliding. So what would you like to do?
I want to throw an acid splash on the people splashing around in the grease.
Alright, so let me go ahead and, hang on, let's see, acid splash, just to double check.
The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 damage. Do I need to attack?
Oh no, it's because it's a saving throw, you don't need to necessarily roll attack, but since they are knocked prone, hang on, let me go ahead and double check something. Alright.
D&D Beyond, everybody.
Yeah, I want to make sure I get the rules right here. Alright. Huh. It doesn't specify anything about skill checks, only attack rolls. So, alright. So then for the sake of this, I will... Oh, goodness, yeah, that's not happening. 3. So,
Alright, so they will have to take a 1d6 of acid damage.
alright. So go ahead and roll that d6. And this is damage to the battalion.
3!
Alright. Not bad. So,
Yeah.
so, like, just kind of holding your staff back, you kind of will the magic within you to go up to Bob and kind of communicate with him. And even though his attention is turned towards the Emerald Moon, you can see his cheeks start to swell, and then he just opens his mouth and kind of spews out this bubble of acid. Yeah, and it goes ahead and flies and goes ahead and hits everyone in this battalion, and they're all just kind of screaming and just kind of rubbing their exposed skin that was damaged in this. And with that,
Here's someone yell, that's not magic, you just gave him bad beans!
and with that, your battalion has 2 actions.
I'm getting ready.
Mhm.
Someone's about to I'm gonna have some questions, and then I'm gonna do some rolls.
Can I do if I'm looking at this right, can I just do a regular hit, the 2d6 plus 2?
For your battalion, yes, you can indeed.
Okay, so
One of those. Then
so it's just rolled like the same.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you just roll a straight d20 to see if it hits.
Oh, right. Oh wait, that's right, you have to roll twice. Wait, is that the same thing or is that a different one? The disadvantage?
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you roll 2 and then take the lower one.
Alright, so 11. So 21.
All right, 21 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
guess that's a bonus action to move it.
Okay, so 6 plus
Oh, it's a
2,
bonus action.
so 8.
Ooh, all right. Let me go ahead and make sure I get that right.
Oh, so in all theory, I also get to.
All right, man. Yeah, you guys are definitely whittling them away just like you said you would. So your battalion goes ahead and charges in, and they make their attacks, and they kill all the soldiers they can, and a lot of them are still there, but you've definitely taken out a decent amount of them. And with that, they still have 1 more action. What would you like them to do?
Have him do it again.
All right, go ahead and roll attack with a disadvantage.
14.
That hits. Roll damage.
Do it again.
Do it.
What have I done?
Do the roar.
Oh, lovely. 5.
All right, not bad. So,
Wait, that works. I need to read the description of spells more. Oh my god.
what?
It says I can bless up to 3 creatures of my choice within range.
Oh my gosh. Dang.
Can I? Never mind.
And all right, so yeah, your battalion goes ahead and kills a few of the remaining ones, and with that, that ends your turn. So Matthias, it is now your turn, and you're still along with this battalion's leader, with your battalion behind them, and all of them are still prone.
Yeah, we got a little rivalry going on with this leader. I have 2-weapon fighting and my actions in combat, but that's a bonus action.
also have such things.
Mhm.
But I already.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and smack the leader with my.
All right, and so roll attack, but with advantage since she is prone and within 5 feet of you.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Just smack. I can just imagine they could reach out with their sword, just like with the flat of their sword, just slap her across the face.
And it's a rapier though. There's not really a flat of the sword.
Go in with the what is
I'm thinking
it?
of
The
that,
hilt
I'm thinking
kind
of
of
the,
like thing.
what's that
Rapier?
one?
I hardly know her.
Oh
Mhm.
You did not.
no!
Not be
I'm gonna have
thinking
to edit that out.
Nah, I don't edit crap out, my dude.
Oh
Eh.
no!
You too.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got a
no.
21.
Yeah.
Hit there.
I don't know. I don't know if that hits. It's all right. Go ahead and roll damage then.
Look, oh no.
That's an 8.
All right. Hey, not bad. So let me go ahead and do the thing. All right. Ooh. So she's just kind of staring up at you, all angry, just annoyed at this whole situation, and you just kind of look down at her like with your face all stoic, and you just stab down. And while she's struggling, you can't really get onto a kind of like you can't really hit any points that would be lethal, but you do go ahead and stab right through her shoulder, and she just kind of quickly grasps it, and she's starting to look a little bloody now. And with that, is there anything else you'd like to do, or can do, or would you like to go ahead and just start with your battalion?
In terms of making a sleight of hand check, does that just mean I steal an item or something?
So if you want to steal an item, you would just make a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, I have a bonus action for that. I'll make a sleight of hand check.
All right, so go ahead and make that check then.
Just like steal all her armor off her body.
Stand there, you reach up behind you,
That's
and you
a
tip
12.
away. Like,
All right, yeah, you try to reach down and grab something of hers, but looking at her, she doesn't really have anything on her person aside from her armor and her weapon, and that's pretty much about it. So there's not really anything to take from her.
Okay.
Someone's.
That ends my turn, and now my battalion.
Yeah, they get 2 actions, and they're still relatively close to this enemy battalion and the leader as well.
Cool. I'll probably just attack him twice then.
All right, go ahead and roll the first attack with the. Well, first, are you attacking the? Well, it doesn't really matter. Go ahead and roll attack with advantage.
It's the same leader.
All right.
Attack with advantage.
Yeah.
16.
All right, that definitely hits. And go ahead and, since we're doing this twice, go ahead and roll for your second attack.
Okay. Also with advantage.
Yeah.
16.
Those both definitely hit. So go ahead and roll damage twice, and then add them up.
Alright. That's a 6 plus 3 piercing. And that's a
So
5
nine.
plus 3 piercing.
All right,
9
so.
plus 8, 17.
All right. Ooh, wow. So as your battalion goes ahead and rushes in, they manage to get quite a few blows on her, just attacking, and she is looking all sorts of bloody and bruised up now. She's still alive, but not very much kicking. You have, yeah, yeah, you got her a lot there, and with that actually brings us to her turn, and she, in her state, can't really move at this point and isn't going to do anything, and she's just going to remain prone and just kind of stare at you angrily. But
Except her fate.
yeah, she is going to shout commands at her battalion to try and get up, so they will use half their movement to go ahead and get up, and then they don't really need to move super far, but they are going to go ahead and target you specifically, Matthias. So
real quick, when you were talking about rapiers earlier, like, 'cause I just looked up, I'm like, what the hell blade am I thinking of? I was confusing it with a scimitar.
oh, okay, yeah, no, that's different. And they do not attack you because they only rolled a 7. And as they charge at you, and they're still kind of slipping on the grease here. And hang on, let me go ahead and. Oh yeah, they fail that too. They actually slip and fall back down in the process, and you just kind of watch, like, kind of dodge out of the way of all these swords coming at you, and with that, that's all that battalion can do. And Cassie, that brings us back to your turn.
Okay, I got a question.
Mhm.
You described the far off battalion that's like watching. Do I know that person that's on the horse?
Make a history check. And this will count as an action if you choose to do it.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm checking something.
History check. Oh
Okay.
no, I didn't pay attention in history.
That's 14.
All right. You don't recognize her, but you recognize the armor she's wearing as something only the highest ups of the highest ups in your kingdom have worn.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, and then any bonus actions you can do? Or?
Yes, I can attack with my spiritual weapon as a bonus action.
All right, so with that, you do have a battalion closest to you. It's the one with the kind of the short male elf, and he's not too far from your spiritual weapon. He's probably about like 5 feet from now. So you're going to go ahead and attack with your spiritual weapon. So,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm checking everything. Okay, so it's +4.
All right.
So, what's 19 + 4?
It hits, that's for sure. So go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, what is that? Okay, it's 2. No, it's 1d8 + 2. I read that incorrectly. 3.
All right. So let me go ahead and make those changes. And then- All right. So your spiritual weapon, like the almost lifted up by an invisible person, the ukulele goes upside down, and with the body, like whacks into this battalion and its leader, and just kind of knocks them aside. But like halfway through, the magic kind of fizzles and doesn't like give the full impact that it would have done. And the battalion and the rest of the and the leader are still standing quite strong. And with that, you have 2 actions for your battalion. What would you like them to do?
Can I get a brief recap on how close my battalion is to everything else? I know I'm close to the one everybody else has been attacking.
Yeah, so
I'm within like 3 feet or so.
yeah, that group is relatively close at this point. And then the battalion, it's about 15. Oh no, not 15 feet. It's about 7 feet away from the battalion you just attacked, and about 3 feet away from the one that everyone else is focusing on.
Okay. Everyone else seems to be doing pretty dang fine. I want to try to get the other people in on the fight. I want them to head towards the one that my spiritual weapon's towards, and they're going to attack their leader.
All right, go ahead and roll attack.
Okay, so I roll both of these at the same time because they have a +1d.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 19,
All right, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
and then I need to recheck with their. Okay, so it's 2 of these.
What happens when their leader
7
dies? They
plus
just all give up and
10.
Oh yeah. I mentioned that earlier. Once the leader dies, the battalion flees. All right, so that was 10 total damage. You said.
Yes,
All right.
and then I wanted to do it twice.
All right. So go ahead and roll your attack again.
And then this one doesn't count. That's a nat 20.
Yeah, that definitely hits. And so go ahead and roll damage and double your dice.
Okay. So it's 16 total.
What?
Wait, hold on. Wait. My math is.
Oh.
No. Wait. No, I'm right. Because I rolled 5, and then they have +3, and then you said to double it because I rolled a nat.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's 16.
16. Wow. Yeah. So your battalion rushes at the leader, and with those 2 attacks, the leader is already just looking very much beat up. And with that, let me go ahead and make sure his HP is adjusted so I don't mistake that. All right. So yeah, you managed to do quite a lot to this guy, and he hasn't even touched anyone yet.
I did I did like 3 damage, and then my battalion within it was like, "Hey, fuck them up."
Yeah. And with that, it is now actually this battalion's turn. So the man you just attacked is going to go ahead and charge towards you, and he's going to lift up his spear and attempt to go ahead and attack you.
Watch me be the first person that actually gets hit.
That is a 12.
No, that misses.
Yeah, what? My dice are cursed tonight, I swear. So, they go ahead. He goes ahead and stabs at you, and you just quickly like swipe the spear out of the way and back off. And with that, his battalion is going to attack yours, and that is a 15 to hit.
That also misses.
What in the world? So the battalion, they're rather distracted by the fact that they were just smacked by a giant ukulele with Panda on the back. So they charge towards you, and your battalion is kind of fending them off and just, like, no problem dodging all these attacks and knocking them away. And with that, the one that's a little further behind is going to move a little forward, and they're not staying behind, per se, but they're kind of watching where this battle's going. And this is the one led by the shorter one with the eye patch, and she's got the got her very homemade-looking bludgeoning weapon, and her battalion kind of moves a little ahead of her, and they are now the battalion and the leader are 7 feet away from you, and about 9 feet away from the rest of the action, and that is all they are going to do. And with that, the one led by the blonde woman on horseback is going to continue staying and just kind of watching, and her battalion does not move. And that brings us back to Soren. It is now your turn.
Yay! Okay, so, the group in front of me, are they all still standing, the battalion?
The battalion, they are not. They actually failed their save and are still prone.
Excellent. Then I am going to instruct the people, my battalion that's in front of me that I had protecting me, to get the fuck out of the way. And then,
All right.
posted in the group a range of the spell that I'm going to cast.
All right.
So just include as many people inside of that range as you can, including the leader.
All right. I'd say that definitely works. So yeah.
Yeah. And
Like,
then,
do the thing that lets us win.
and then I'm going to cast Burning Hands, which is a 15-foot cone, which is those diagrams I posted.
Mm.
And they all need to make a dexterity saving throw. However, because they are going to do so as a group, I'm going to use my natural 1 portent roll to make them all automatically fail.
All right. So yeah.
I'm going to take maximum damage, which... Oh, that's nice. That is 15 fire damage to every single one within that range, and anything that is flammable is now on fire.
All right. So let me go ahead and.
That is flammable is now
Now,
on fire.
that means the grease.
Yes, the grease is now currently on fire.
That means it's gonna spread.
Oh my gosh.
Pieces.
Starting.
All right.
Maybe step back.
So.
Everybody in that environment probably leave.
Oh yeah. So as soon as
I'm
you
not
go ahead
over
and,
there, so.
as soon as you cast that, the leader just completely burns and just she is burnt to a crisp and she is no longer alive.
Oh,
And the rest of the group, they're all screaming and on fire, and after being burned by acid and slipping in grease, suddenly this fire comes and wipes out quite a lot of them. And as this grease, in the grass no less, catches on fire, the entire area goes up in flames and is...
I feel like we're focusing too much on just this one battalion. There's like what, 3 other ones?
I'm not focusing on them.
Battalion still has time to go beat up some other battalions.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
Overkill at this point.
I'm over here beating the shit out of people.
yeah,
And you guys are like, this woman.
Just 5 feet away
from the...
to watch her face melt.
she is...
Is that
Greased, acid, and to top it off, how about some fire, bitch?
Oh yeah, no, that killed the leader. The leader is dead.
Okay. How close is the next battalion?
The next battalion is about, I believe I said, 8 feet away from you guys.
Okay, and what's the status of that battalion?
So that battalion, okay, so the leader looks pretty beat up. They're focused more on Cassie and her battalion right now, but the battalion itself is standing quite strong.
Okay. Then I will go ahead and send, since my people don't need to move to do this, I'm going to send one charge of magic missile at that leader, one charge of magic missile at whatever other leader that's within 60 feet that happens to look the most alive.
All right, so let me
All
go
of
ahead and let me go ahead and.
Okay, so the attack against the first one is.
Oh yeah, I was looking that up myself.
I'm dying.
I have it in my spell book, it's just not prepared, so I have access to it.
All right.
Magic missile.
Oh, it just automatically hits, so I don't need to roll to attack. So the first one is going to deal 4 points of damage.
All right, on the first leader.
Actually, sorry, those are 3 darts, so hold on. 1,
All right.
2, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 12 points of damage for the first leader.
He's down. Those magic missiles, as soon as you fire them, they just blow him up, and he just collapses to the ground. And his battalion looks down and is just freaked out by this, and they're like, "Oh, we are messing with the wrong people right now." And
Fuck him up.
yeah, that guy is now unconscious, definitely. And with that, you say you're going to go and attack the closest leader to that one.
Next living leader that is close by, and that's another magic missile automatically hits. So that is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 points of damage to that one.
Ooh, wow. All right.
Fuck him up.
So yeah, these magic missiles, the leader that was closest hasn't actually been hurt at all. So once these magic missiles come flying over, and she is a very hardy person, so like she takes them like a champ, and you can see she looks a little beat up afterwards, and like she's still got she's got some just burns on her skin, but she is still looking raring and ready to go. So with that,
That is the end of my
all right. That brings us back to the top of the round. Arkrampin, it is now you. And the battalion you had been fighting is kind of in this burning circle in the ground, and the fire is slowly starting to consume the grass around you. And the closest battalion is about 14 feet away from where you are.
Right. Okay. So, well, technically, I never Arkrampin himself. Like, I never moved. Like, I just did all this from where I was. Because most. Of my
Okay, so then. Okay, so they're about the 14 feet away from your battalion, and they're more like 18 feet away from you.
I was going to say, I also have not moved.
All right.
I've just moved them and my spiritual
my
weapon.
movement is 30. I would like to.
I'm like, son of a bitch.
I would like to shoot an Eldritch Blast at the closest freaking battalion leader.
All right, cool. So go ahead and roll attack on that one.
Oh fuck.
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
I don't know. Probably not. 9.
Yeah, unfortunately, that as soon as you go ahead and you hold up your staff with Bob, and his mouth opens up wide, and the white pearly blast goes and fires right out of his mouth, but he is distracted by the moon, and the blast just just misses the leader, and she kind of watches it fly past you, and she just kind of looks at you and just kind of gives you this shitting grin, and she's just like, here. And
I'll wipe that smirk off your face before long.
all right, so with that, your battalion still has 2 actions, and they are really close to this fire. So,
Okay, we want to move them out of the fire.
all right, so how far would you like to move them? Because they have 30 feet of movement.
They have okay, can I put them behind the other battalion?
The one that you had just aimed at?
Yes.
Yeah, they're close enough. You can go ahead and kind of run around this fire and head towards where this other battalion is coming in from your right. And now they are directly behind this one. All right, cool. And then they have 1 more action.
All right. So we would like to hit them.
All right, go ahead and roll attack.
So that is. Why with that low number?
Welcome up.
Oh, that's fine. 14.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Let me get more dice. 9.
All right. So your battalion goes up and rushes them, and this battalion is a very hardy-looking bunch, much like their leader, like short but tough with really big weapons and the desire to kill. So, but your group comes in and they go ahead and they manage to wipe out a few of them. But this group, now that you're looking at it from where you're standing, this appears to be the 2nd largest battalion among the entire group that you've been facing.
Second largest.
On.
All right, and that is the end of your turn. So, Matthias, it is now your turn. You are basically right by this fire as it's moving, and your battalion is relatively close as well. So, what would you like to do?
I would like to move to the closest alive battalion.
All right, so they are. Oh yeah, they're pretty close to you in comparison to our Krampin. So you definitely get up, right up to that battalion, and you get close to its leader, who is the short woman carrying the rather large bludgeoning weapon. And with that, what would you like to do?
To attack.
All right, go ahead.
Prepare.
All right, are you attacking the leader? Oh yeah, you're attacking the leader. All right, go ahead and roll attack then.
Why not? Okay.
We want everyone else to panic and run away to their mamas.
That's 11.
Be like my next time.
That actually just hits. So go ahead and roll damage.
Yes!
Beauteous.
I'm throwing up gang signs my next turn.
Mhm.
It's like fight.
She's Mr. Tough and powerful.
7.
With the weak ass arm.
All right. Well, it's just like it's not necessarily her armor. It's just herself that's really tough. The one that's well armored is far out in the distance. Oh yeah, no. So you go ahead and slash forward, and she backs off, and you just kind of cut across her chest. And she's not really wearing much other than leather armor. She looking at her, she seems very confident in her skills. So she seems like one of those types who's like, who needs protection when I could just bash things. So, but you go ahead and cut across, and it definitely leaves a scar across her armor, but she still looks rather tough at the moment. So with that, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Not at all.
All right.
How far are they away from my battalion?
From their battalion, from your battalion, they're about 18 feet away.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I would like to move them over. And attack.
They use their action to go ahead and move forward that 18 feet, and are they attacking the leader or the battalion?
The leader.
All right, go ahead and
Why would you attack the battalion? There's no reason. Just focus on the leader, and the battalion will give up.
We might get more XP.
We might get more XP.
He's got a point because my battalion's got the other that battalion distracted down the backside.
True. So what was the attack?
11.
That that just hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Cool. 5 plus 3 piercing damage.
All right, so that would be 8 total. So All right, so your battalion goes ahead and rushes the leader, and she's trying to bat away as many of them as she can with her club, but she still manages to take a decent amount of damage. So let me go ahead and change that. All right, and that brings us to Cassie's turn because the battalion that was normally next is now down. So with that, Cassie, what would you like to do?
Okay, how far, okay, I don't think it matters, but, for my bonus action, I'm gonna, softly do, like, a quiet little pray, and then I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on Matthias, because my range for that is 60 feet, so it doesn't matter where he is.
Yeah, because you're all relatively close right now.
And he now has +2 on his armor class.
Nice.
And then for once again, not like it matters. Since they're close enough, and I got a lot of range for this move. I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt on the woman on the horse.
Ooh.
Is that an attack roll?
Yeah.
I would like to give you a natural 20.
All right. So with that, go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. So I double it because
Yeah, it's a natural 20.
and it's 4 d6s. Wow. It's a lot.
She did. She just did.
What is math? That's 28.
All right. I go ahead and.
Hell yes.
So, like, from across the battlefield, Soren saw her start to cast her spell, and she was just like, you know what?
All right. So
I
So you-
have nothing left.
So you go ahead and send that guiding bolt after the armored woman, kind of way further away. It impacts her. She just kind of nudges back, but then she stands up and just kind of stares at you, and she looks almost entirely unfazed by that spell.
Oh my god, I was like, oh, shit.
Holy shit.
I just wanted like a one-hit kill like he did.
You may have some resistance to radiant damage.
And all right, so
My turn's over.
your battalion still has 2 actions, and they are close enough to the battalion that everyone else is kind of focusing on now.
Okay. Since no one else has done it, can I know? I wanna do my special.
Ooh, all right.
No one else has done it, so I'm like, ooh, I want to know what mine is.
All right, go ahead and roll both your percentile dice.
Okay, I don't have them out.
Well, my special is more of a defense thing.
You said both of them.
Yeah.
That's a
So that would be
90.
yeah. So 90, and then you rolled a.
That's a 2.
All right, so 92 total. All right, let me go ahead and do it on my end as well. All right, so something just kind of wells up within you, and looking at your battalion, they're relatively close to the rest of them, and you see kind of this faint glow gently surround them, and you hear a voice inside your head say, "You ready to do this? I want you to go ahead and roll 3d20. This will be 3 attacks at advantage."
Okay. So roll 3 of them 3 times. Oh,
Yeah.
twice. Okay. So one of
Wow.
those is a nat 20.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave that there.
That's definitely hitting.
Okay, and then I don't remember the other 2.
Sorry, it sounds like they all hit though. Just
Yeah, they were all like
all right. So
very high numbers.
let me see. Let me go ahead and check the. All right. I want you to roll 4d4.
Okay.
Roll 4d4, and then double the total.
Well, I rolled 2 4s, and a 3, and a 2. So that's 6. No, 5 plus 8, which is 13. 13 times 2 is 26.
All right. So, with that faint glow, you can see the members of your battalion, like, for a single moment, they kind of flicker in and out of what appears to be just your vision. They flicker, and for that single instant that they flickered out, you saw that instead of the members of your battalion, there were these tall figures wearing very elegant flowing robes, and they were wearing all these crowns with the wings of eagles kind of pointing out behind them, and they were all holding these very massive weapons, probably like almost the size of buildings in the town you were just in, like spears adorned with these very elegant, intricate designs. One of them holding a sword with like this pearl as the pommel, and they all go ahead and charge towards the leader. And in that instant, they attack, and this massive flash just brightens up the horizon as this attack hits, and the leader is now just completely frozen in shock at what just happened and has been knocked prone, and she does not look very good. So with that, your battalion still has one more action.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's try to go in for the kill, I guess.
All right, so you're gonna do like a regular attack?
Yeah.
All right.
Do it again.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't hit.
Oh, what was it?
It's a 6.
Oh yeah, no, unfortunately that doesn't hit. So after just what happened, everyone goes ahead and kind of transforms back into their regular selves and attack, but the battalion just kind of blocks everyone off from their leader. And with that, the leader is just frozen in shock, just kind of staring up, and she doesn't do anything, but she sends her battalion to attack you, Cassie, and that is going to be... What in the world is up with these dice? A 4 to hit. Yeah. And then, with that, they're going to try attacking again.
You need to stop rolling that die.
That was a natural 1. Putting that in your dice wheel.
You put it in mine.
Yeah. Yeah, her battalion has done nothing. But with that,
Stop.
Nice.
That is so funny.
Obviously unbalanced.
yeah, no kidding. They're weighted or something, my dude, I swear. Alright,
I think I took all your good rolls.
so,
I rolled 2 nat 20s, so I think I took all your...
yeah, probably. I want all 4 of you to make a perception check.
Perception.
20. Not natural.
Alright.
Oh wait, I want to roll this one because I've got... I got a 20 at 1.
Nice.
I got a 23 because I'm a rogue.
Yep.
Oh, right there.
I mean, I'm a cleric.
24.
Yeah.
But you have a raven.
Yes.
I got 22.
Alright, so, yeah. So all of you...
I'm proficient in perception.
I'm not.
all of
very
you,
smart.
in the chaos of this battle and with the ever-growing fire, you do manage to look up and see the woman with the pearl white armor jump off her horse and disappear into the sky. And then you just wait there for a moment. And then she comes crashing down and she stabs her spear into the leader of the last living battalion and twists the spear into her throat. And the leader just kind of looks up at her with these wide eyes, and then you just watch the light fade from them. And this woman in the pearl white armor just turns towards the rest of you, pulls the spear out, and she looks at the rest of the battalion that's with them, they just stare at her, and then they immediately run away and begin running away with the rest of the survivors. And this one that's staring at you looks at all of you and just kind of smiles, and she goes, I'm impressed. And then she goes ahead and snaps her fingers, and then you look up into the sky, and you can see 3 cloaked figures beginning to circle around you.
Fuck these fuckers.
And with that, we are going to take our break.
No, I don't have anything left. I don't have anything left. I used everything.
With that, we will go ahead and meet again at, we'll meet at 8:45.
There's
That is the end of part 1 of chapter 5, so make sure you stay weird, my fellow weirdos. There we go. Alright, now...
There's 3 of them. Not 3 of them. We could barely take up freaking 2. Oh, that die is cursed.
Right?
I just rolled a 4.
It's awful.
Wow. I'm gonna try one more time. That was better. It was a 16.
Alright, I'll be right back. I need to go get more soda.
I don't have anything left. I wish I had more spell slots. I guess that's the point. I'm too overpowered. I should have saved some slots.
What?
I said I should have saved some slots. Do it.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I've got to learn to be more conservative about spells.
Well, to be fair, all your spells have been out of necessity, so it's
I'm sorry, I kind of missed it. What time are we reconvening?
8:45.
Okay.
45? Hell yeah.
Clerics also just don't have a lot of spell slots.
I have 6.
I'm multi-classing, and I'm sure I have more spell slots than you.
How do you feel about what you know now, Soren?
Honestly, at this point, not a whole lot is surprising me. After like that first night, she's just like, "Fuck it, I'm just going along for the ride. This is all I'm saying. Just keep piling it on. Go ahead."
Be like, some of this may kind of be my fault. I mean, it would have happened either way,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's worse. No, it's definitely my fault. I'm like rethinking.
He's probably one of my favorite characters I have ever played, and the stupid campaign didn't go very far, and I was so sad. So,
Ah.
anything ever happens to Soren?
Wait, she's a mouse folk. So is it like fucking Despero or?
So I based her a little bit. I don't know if any of you guys ever read the Chronicles of Narnia book. She's based a little bit off of Reapy Chief from
Ooh.
Bone Shredder.
Yeah.
So she's very energetic and not necessarily lawful, but very noble and also very loud and outspoken and opinionated.
Reaper Chief's personality is
A rather brilliant warrior too. So she's a lot. I like building characters that are fun for me to play in combat as well as out of combat, and her particular in combat build is so fucking special. So much fun.
So like, well, we're like pretty much chaos.
Yes, she would
Like
do
our
very
group
well
right now
with
is
this.
just straight chaos. So if she does, you can bring in some justice.
Well, justice, but also she. So I built her in a fashion that basically allows her to hit anything when it's not her turn, if it enters her range, if it leaves her range, if it attacks somebody that's an ally within her range, if it casts spell within her range, and then sometimes she can even hit them if they move 5 feet within her range. So basically I built her as a character who, when it's not even her turn, she is just pummeling characters with a stick.
yes.
Pummeling them.
And
And
slowly
it's
devises a plot to kill Soren to get this character in the story.
She is a lot of fun. She's a little bit of a murder hobo, but
Yes.
intention.
I never thought I'd hear that. Never thought I'd ever hear that unironically.
She gets into this. She has so much fun fighting that sometimes she forgets about things like morals. So, you know.
Oh goodness.
Anyway, she's a lot of fun. So I've got a great backup character if anything ever happens to Soren.
Nice.
That's a good and a bad thing. I have quite a few backup characters. I don't know which one I'd use if something happened to my character because they're all so good. I technically do get to use them though in my own campaign, so it's not like I don't get to use them. I've just gotta flesh out their backstories a bit more.
Good idea. Mm-hmm.
I think this is the first time I've completely ran out of spell slots.
You're already out of spell slots totally?
Yes, I only have 6. You do realize I used 2 before we even started. Because
cleric is supposed to be defensive, not offensive. So that's pretty normal.
Like
Oh, maybe like different.
I used Like I used two of them before we even started. That's why I made Matthias beg for his life. Like if I didn't have to heal someone, I would have an extra spell slot right now.
You sound like you want to play a paladin, not a cleric. Because you're playing the cleric how the cleric's supposed to be played.
No, I'm just saying like my character would make him beg for his life. I personally also would have, like, me as a person, I also would have made him beg for his life. So, I mean, my character's for helping people, but she's also within self-interest. So, you're very lucky that she sees you all as allies right now. Or, she would not still be here. She would have left a very long time ago if she didn't think that you guys were of use to her.
Eating crazy old Art Crampin.
Welcome back.
Nice distraction.
Love me that water.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Water's a lifesaver.
That generic off-brand cola.
All right.
I'm drinking water.
Yes.
Something of the sort.
Liquid is definitely water.
Yeah, that's a sweet character.
Batty.
Yeah.
Did you hear the description?
I didn't hear it. I was out smoking a cigarette, but I read the thing that she typed.
So, Batty's a lot of fun. Her design, she's based on, I don't know if you are familiar with the Chronicles of Narnia books. She's based a little bit off of Reepicheep in those books.
Yeah.
Very, very vocal and opinionated and loyal and outspoken and ridiculous.
Reepicheep is who I based Dietrich off of.
Her build is, I will hit all of the things all of the time when it's not my turn. I put her together in a way that she has unlimited attack of opportunities and so many different things trigger attack of opportunity that it'll be not her turn and I can make like 10 plus hits on things depending on how many enemies are around us. It's kind of ridiculous and so much fun.
Well, Matthias has opportunity attack for reaction.
Yeah.
Hers though, it's unlimited. Like, so I could potentially make, if I was in a large group of enemies, as many attacks as they decide they want to trigger.
So does a reaction happen when an enemy attacks you?
A reaction happens when something triggers it. So generally that is somebody attacking you or an ally, triggering a spell effect, or moving into your space, etc. Because making an attack of opportunity uses your reaction. And that is something that comes free to every character. So different things trigger a reaction, and then just depends on how your character is built, what they can do with that reaction.
All right.
Most attack of opportunities are triggered only by a character leaving your range. That's the check. Baddies is triggered by entering range, leaving range, moving 5 feet within range, attacking an ally within range, casting a spell within range. Just basically, if they breathe or look at her wrong, she gets to hit them.
That is excellent.
It's very fun.
Oh, goodness.
Mr. Burns, just excellent.
One thing that's also really fun is in the game that she was playing, we paired her with the Goliath character, and she would sit on the Goliath's shoulders, and he would cast Thunder Wave, which would force everything out of her range, whether they wanted to or not, so she could make free hits on all of them.
Oh my goodness, that is like,
It was so funny.
that's the best character build ever.
It's
That's
so
like,
ridiculous, but it's really
it's
fun.
like, okay, you know what that is? That's the character, that's the equivalent of, like, if you're equivalent of so many people going out with the freaking gym teacher for, like, you know, in dodgeball. You're doing so bad, like, okay, the gym teacher comes in and just whoops ass. That's the equivalent.
Sounds about right. All right.
Are we ready for part 2?
Indeed, as long as everyone's ready, we will go ahead and begin.
I'm ready.
All right.
Alright, part 2 of chapter 5. Let Dungeon Master take over now.
All right. So, with that being the case, you're surrounded by an ever-growing fire towards everyone's west. This woman in this pearl armor that seemed unfazed by an attack that should have dealt quite a bit of damage to...
28.
Yeah, a lot of damage. And after she had approached you, she had killed one of her own people. And above you, you begin to see those 3 circling cloaked figures. And as you guys are standing there, they come down and they stand behind this blonde-haired woman who's just standing there with you all with her spear, blood-tipped spear. And you recognize one of them. One of them is one of the 2 that you had fought the other day, and he is still alive and kicking. But the other 2 you do not recognize, although they both look the exact same. They've both got just this bald head, very, like, almost, their face almost looks like it was painted pure white, and they've got, like, streaks of red just below their eyes, and they're just staring at you with this dead-eyed stare. Like, you don't even see the whites of their eyes. It's just, their eyes are just completely black as they stare at you. And in front of you, and this blonde-haired woman just smiles, and she goes, "The name's Eileen. I suppose you are the people Holly had saved." "Oh, I'm sorry. Did she save you? I think she might have led you to your doom." And she goes ahead and... she actually looks at you, Arkrampin, and she looks at Bob, and then she goes ahead and kind of nods at the 2 very similar-looking cloaked men, and then they walk towards you, and they grab your staff. I want you to go ahead and make a strength check.
Come on. Wait, isn't there a...
It's at the top here.
Yeah, it's a +0 for you.
Oh, gosh, damn it.
So,
8.
Hmm?
I'm at 8.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Amelia, what were you going to say?
and probably unimportant, but while this is going on and while she's talking at us and doing all this exposition stuff, Soren is just kind of quietly using control flames to move that fire a little bit closer to her and possibly try and set all of them on fire. Just really subtly and quietly in the background.
All right.
Do with that what you will.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Does your nat d20 only work on your allies?
So important, I roll 2d20s at the start of every day, and then I can use those d20s however I want with anybody and anything.
Hmm.
So, but they're only 1 use each. But for this, I'm going to use Tides of the Wild Mage so that I get advantage on the roll.
All right.
Tides of the Wild Mage.
How does a 19?
All right. So as you're going ahead and trying to move this flame, this blonde-haired woman, she doesn't seem to notice, but if you look at the flames, they're actually moving in the opposite direction that you're changing them to.
Figures.
And then, with that, Arkrampin, so you made that strength check, and with that, the one man holds the staff firmly, while the other goes ahead and actually removes Bob from the staff and carries him. And Bob is not at all struggling; he's still staring at the moon. And the blonde-haired woman says, "We'll be taking him." And then the 2 cloaked men go ahead and walk back behind her, and they're just kind of and. Eileen just kind of looks at you and she goes, "Friend, huh? I wasn't aware our friend here made friends." And then she goes ahead and she tosses her spear into the air. It flashes and breaks down into into glowing gold particles, and then when they collide back together, they go ahead and form a long rapier with the hilt guard going over her knuckles, and the blade extends about 7 feet. It is far too long for a regular rapier. And then she goes ahead and spins it in a circle around her head, and around you four and this woman, a barrier, like a magic barrier, begins forming around you that just goes ahead and stretches 20 feet above you, and it's just glowing orange and purple, and it is just you four and this blonde-haired woman, Eileen, and she goes ahead and looks at the four of you, and she goes, "Why not make this a fair fight, shall we?" And now I want you guys to go ahead and roll initiative one more time.
Oh my god. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, take my weapon. What do you mean fair fight?
Oh no.
Guys, everyone will guess what I rolled.
Oh no.
Let me guess, another nat 1?
Alright, so...
Oh my god!
It's alright. I didn't roll much better, so.
Alright, so...
The man go through his
25 to 20.
22.
Ooh, nice. Alright.
Good for you.
And then 20 to 15. Uh-oh. 15 to 10.
I got 10.
Alright, nice. And then... 10 to 5. Mm-hmm. And then 5 to 1. Yep.
You'll hold me down here with a 1.
You both got 1?
Alright,
Oh, no.
so...
I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate that at all.
My world.
Yep, alright.
Oh,
Well, you
no.
have the cursed dice. I have regular dice.
Alright, so with that, Matthias, you are first. So standing before you, this woman's just kind of standing there with her really long rapier, and she's just kind of... She doesn't really seem to be defending or anything. She's just kind of standing casually with her blade in her hand. So what do you do?
How far away is she?
She's about 6 feet away.
6 feet away?
Mm.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and...
I have an idea of what I want to do with this one.
I feel like she put us
I'm gonna
all.
throw my dagger straight at her face.
Alright. Go ahead and roll attack.
Okay. Go ahead and do that. Oh, that's an 8.
Yeah, that misses. So you go ahead and throw your dagger, and she just swiftly moves her head out of the way, and it just like barely catches one of her hairs, and then it flies right through the barrier, and now it is outside.
Oh, fantastic.
So is there anything else you want to or can do?
She's 6 feet away.
Mm.
No, there's nothing else I can really do.
Alright, so with that...
Actually,
Oh.
I'm gonna go ahead and... Can I dash backward?
You can, although the barrier behind you is actually just a foot away.
Yeah, I'll dash that foot.
Alright, so you go ahead and dash into that, and nearing the barrier you can kind of hear a... like a very faint glowing. And with that, you are now 7 feet away from Eileen. And that brings us to Cassie's turn. What would you like to do?
Sorry, I'm reading.
Oh yeah, no worries. She is also 6 feet. She's 6 feet away from all of you.
How big is this radius? How big is the radius of the barrier?
So the barrier, it's surrounding all three of you, and it has a radius of about 12 feet.
It's
So
like
everyone pretty much has to do melee attacks if you can't do
Yeah, because, yeah.
anything else. So that means my shit's out the window.
What's the barrier doing?
So the barrier is, it's just keeping you four and this woman in.
Oh, okay.
No one else is in here.
So it's pretty much like a boss fight in a game where it's just like this area is off limits until you defeat that.
More or less.
Yeah, me with my dagger, I was friends, I have knives.
Yep.
Oh, great.
I'm out of knives. I'm not actually. I have one more.
Okay,
What's
so
that reference again?
That's
Undertale.
I've
Yes.
got
It's the mad dummy.
I'm out of knives. I got knives. There's one knife.
I love that fight. The music's so good.
So funny.
okay.
That entire game on Pacifist is great. It's a great
Right.
story.
What are you doing?
In one hand, I've got my shield. The other hand, I take, like, slowly unsheath my mace. That's not how a mace works, but
But still, we get the picture.
yeah, I unsheath my mace. The shield that I am brandishing is my shield, like my family shield,
yeah.
my kingdom shield. Kiss the top of it, go in, and just like try to take a swing at
All right, go ahead and roll attack.
it. Nat 20.
All right, yeah, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage and double your dice.
That's the third one this session.
All
Okay, it's an 8.
right, 8 total, or
Eight
okay,
total.
yeah. All right, so you managed to go ahead and run in and smash her with the mace, and just kind of whacks across her face, and like you could see a little bit of blood starts trickling down, but then the blood, almost as if in reverse, goes back into her wounds, and the wounds close. And she just kind of smirks, and she's like, "Ah, so you're the one we were here for." Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I'm like, in her face. You're like.
I have an idea of what's my turn. And
Oh my
before
God.
this goes on, I think it's gonna work.
You said she said, "Oh, you're the one we're here for."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, never mind. I was gonna try to be a badass. But
Oh,
I'm like, no.
all right, so is that your turn?
Yeah.
All right, Soren, you're next.
Okay. Around me inside this barrier, do I see anything that is currently unequipped to someone and weighs less than 10 pounds? A rock, a piece of discarded armor, weapon, anything. Just laying around.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Is Bob still around? Or was he taking the floor?
You don't want this to happen to Bob. That's a 14.
Yeah, looking around, just and everything that's going on, you're even though nothing surprises you, everything is still crazy right now, and just you cannot find anything on the ground here.
Okay. Hold my other area. Ooh, maybe I have something on me. Let's see. What do I not need?
What do I not need?
I can say the same thing about my house.
You know what? I don't need this lantern. I'm going to cast catapult on my own lantern and use a bit of luck to roll with. And she needs to make a dexterity saving throw, and I'm also rolling, and I can choose between the two rolls.
All right, I'll have her go ahead and roll then. All right, that would be an 18.
Okay, I would like her to take my 6s instead, so that she failed.
All right,
And now she's gonna take some damage from my lantern.
all right.
Meanwhile, I was like, oh, inside the mind of potassium. Yes, it's definitely good damage.
So she's gonna take 16 points of bludgeoning damage from my
From a lantern.
Also worth noting, the lantern also takes that same damage, so it is promptly just crushed.
Question. I have a question about this. Is the lantern lit and does it make her on fire?
It does. It's not lit.
All right, so you go ahead and send this lantern flying at her, and it collides with her pearl armor and just shatters immediately upon impact. And she kind of falls back a little bit, but she looks entirely unfazed by the hit.
When she said her name, do I happen to recognize her in any religious senses?
Go ahead and make a religion check.
16.
Yeah, you do not recognize her.
Even with a 16, holy moly.
So also too, that was a sorcerer spell. So
All right. Yes.
roll on my wild serpent too, or roll to see if I get one.
Yes. Definitely go ahead and see.
Rolling. That is not a natural one. Okay.
All right. Good. All right, and with that,
I would love to turn her into a flower.
that would be pretty great. Our Crampin, it is now your turn.
I feel like that would immediately solve our problems.
1 second.
I feel like a mace can go right through a flower pot.
I'm looking through some of my traits right now to see what exactly I have.
All right.
Okay. I would like to use a spell. I would like to use Mold Earth to encompass her in like a cage of earth.
All right. So as you go ahead and cast the spell, you feel the magic fade from your body, and there is no effect.
No. Oh, I'm useless. No, I'm just kidding. I have shit I can do.
To be fair, at this point, we're all useless against her. So.
All right. Is there anything else you can do?
I would like to. So it's like 12 feet and 6 feet away. I would like to move like a little bit back. Like I want to back away a little bit. That's all.
All right. So you move back until your back's like almost up against this barrier, and so you're about 7 feet away from her now. And with that, she goes ahead and kind of moves her sword around, and like it kind of leaves a faint white trail behind the tip of the blade. She jumps high into the air, then comes crashing down and swipes the sword at the ground. And I want all of you to make dexterity saving throws.
This is good.
Please. That's less than ideal.
Continue, my gnats.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Dexterity saving. Why?
No. That one's going over there.
11.
I rolled a 3.
15.
All right. So with that,
There go my well rolled. Why are you rolling so many die?
all right. So this white blast comes out from her sword and encompasses all of you, and you all take 15 points of radiant damage.
Oh,
15.
I'm glad I have that backup character.
You said 15?
Yeah.
15 damage. I'm at 3.
Oh no.
I'm at 2.
Someone at 1?
No, I'm at 10.
I am at 11.
That took away all my temp damage and took 10 of my actual hit points.
Well, hey.
You healed earlier.
Also, be happy that I cast aid on everyone earlier.
Yeah.
Because you would be dead.
And
Even if my health was full, that would have still killed me.
yep.
My max health is 15.
And
Instantly unconscious, just like earlier.
and Eileen just kind of looks at you, and she just tilts her head, and she just says, "You're all a lot heartier than I thought." And she goes ahead and sheathes her rapier, and the barrier around all of you disappear. And once it disappears,
She was testing us.
and then
Long rest after that.
she's looking around at everyone else, and she goes, "Well, it seems most of your people have fled, except for one, it seems." And then she goes ahead and points her finger out, and one of the bald men with the cloaks on goes ahead and holds his hand out, and you see this black, almost bullet-shaped mote fly out forward, and then all of you turn around, and you can see that mote fly through the head of the Dragonborn Shoal,
No!
and he collapses to the ground.
No.
And
He did not.
Eileen just Eileen looks at all of you, and she just goes, I think we've had enough fun for now. I'll give you all 10 minutes. If you aren't out of town by now, we'll go ahead and kill all of you. And then she waves her hand and she just says, go on.
Where's my staff?
You have your staff, it's just they took Bob.
What? Wait, I thought it. Did you say it turned into her sword?
Oh no, the spear she was carrying.
Oh. Freaking assholes.
Soren's gonna turn and walk away.
I'm gonna follow Soren.
Yeah, she's
I'm gonna portal out of here.
I'm,
To the inn.
So,
I want to collect Shoal's body,
alright.
like pick him up.
You go ahead and lift him up, and
Take the,
You have a shoal in your inventory.
this is an 8-year-old boy, by the way. I don't know if I told you guys that, but
Oh shit.
yeah. So,
it's like the bird girl, but you did it on purpose.
I didn't do it. Anyway, you go ahead and carry him, and you head back towards Hooded River. And as you are, you can see that most of the streets have been evacuated for the most part. And Glenn and Janice and everyone, they're all trying to get everyone aboard this train. And you can hear that it's on now, and it's preparing to go ahead and leave as soon as possible. As soon as Glenn sees all of you, he's like, oh, come here, come here. We're leaving right this moment. And he gestures towards the train, and the doors are open. Do you guys go ahead and board?
Yes.
Magic train, yes.
hey, there it is.
So, you guys go ahead and hop aboard this train, and it's already pretty crowded. Like, the entirety of this town is aboard this train, so most of the seats, at least up front, have been taken up, but you guys do manage to go to the back and find some seats for yourself. And
Where the cool kids sit.
And at the back, like as you're walking through the train, you pass by Aluris and Chisadri, and they see you carrying Shoal, and Chisadri just kind of stares, and her eyes, for the first time since you've known her, kind of go hooded instead of her usual wide-eyed stare. And Aluris goes ahead and like holds his arms out, and he's like, "Can I take him?"
By this point, like Cassie, she's silent. I'm completely like, I just do a slight nod and just hand
And
it
then
over.
Aluris takes Shoal and heads further into the train, with Chisadri kind of following along, and she's just got this dead-eyed stare. And then you go ahead and head further into the train, and you go ahead and sit with your friends, and as you go ahead and sit in the back, you guys sit there and wait 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and then at about the 8-minute mark, once everyone's aboard, the train begins making its way out of the station, and you hear the and then it eventually gets faster until it starts heading up towards the hills that border Hooded River from the land of endless snow in the province of Washorik. And as you guys are standing there, you look behind you and you can see the 3 hooded figures that were with Eileen. They've each got this sphere of fire in their palms, and then they throw them down at the town of Hooded River. And in this massive blast, it just wipes out everything in the town, and smoke begins to fill the sky. But as you guys are heading north, you are no longer within Hooded River, and you begin making your way north towards, hopefully, what would be safety. And with that, we will go ahead and end tonight's session.
Well, that's 2 towns we failed to save.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit.
Bullshit. Oh, I have a question. Who is more powerful, Mr. Person that we took down in business suit, or that bitch?
Eileen, by a landslide.
I was about to say, what kind of question is that?
Well, she was surprised we took down that other guy.
Well, sure, in like the same way that we as human beings might be surprised that an ant can lift a particular
Yeah.
Any knowledge?
Oh yeah, you guys are level 3 or level 4 now.
Oh. Okay.
Level
There's
up.
manage levels.
I'm not crying myself to sleep tonight.
Oh yeah, you guys don't know, but Shoal was a huge part of Cassie's solo story.
Now we're level 4.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
level
out
4.
of commission for a while.
Mm.
My character's gonna be out of commission for a while.
Score.
Mentally. Oh man.
Games.
Wait, one score.
Why does everyone always
One
die
ability
like that?
score of your creates by 2. Great Mary equals 2 ability score of your creates by 1.
It's all connected to the story. You'll see. There's a reason for it. It's not just mindless killing.
Ah,
All
sweet,
these
I get
people are
more
very
freaking
important.
Oh, sweet. Oh, well, I want summoning strength since I have nothing.
Wait, whoops. There's my evil die. Thank you.
What do I have? No, it's just, well, no, let's do also in wisdom. Because, warlock.
You no longer have Bob though, so that's gonna be interesting.
That's annoying. He's my buddy.
Okay.
Oh, wait. That means I have to freaking... Hold on, view my character sheet. I have to edit this. I have to edit my, under my, where is it?
Oh, hey, it automatically added them.
Yeah, my other possessions. Bob the Imp Staff. I have to, like, edit that saying Bobless Imp Staff.
I can't even take proper notes.
Man.
Alright, inventory.
Strength is 1 now.
Alright, I'll just do all this off camera. But, I'm gonna end the recording there. Make sure you stay with me until... Stop doing it too.
Mm.
Alright, now, how the hell do I edit this?
Oh, yay, I have 6 HP now.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 19.
I have 23. Wait, no, that's my max 23. I have 8. Hooray, I got some help. What was I doing? Oh yeah, editing Bob the Imp Staff.
When you level up, you automatically regain. It's basically the same as long rest.
Mm.
Well, no, a long rest fully does it, doesn't it?
Right. But leveling up, technically speaking.
But isn't long rest like max the HP? Or like full increase
Yeah,
it?
so basically when you level up, you also get the equivalent of a long rest. So like everything recharges.
Oh, well, I'm still at 8.
Right,
But
you
did
gotta, you gotta hit long rest.
Oh.
DDBeyond doesn't do that automatically because you might level up for a different reason, if that makes sense, or you might edit your character for a different reason.
Oh, like if, okay. Like Pokemon Standards, like, oh, like a rare candy.
They only touch spell slots and stuff like that if you specifically say, and like that's why it's even got that double check. You have to click this twice because they don't want to accidentally overwrite stuff you've been using.
Lovely. Oh, here we go. Custom items. Well, that's the. Oh, so how do I access the fucking? It's not. It's not like it's right there in my other possessions. But how do I?
Alright,
Edit
I'm gonna
it?
catch y'all next week.
Alright.
Alright.
See you, man.
I think I'm out too.
Alright.
See you guys next week.
See ya.
See it.
Bye.
Bye. No, I'm out too. See you, man.
See it.
And then I'll be stopping the stream.